So we're starting this segment with sleep disorders, and insomnia is the most common. Insomnia is characterized by persistent problems falling or staying asleep. But not because you're anxious or excited, that is normal and should go away when your troubles are resolved or past. Insomnia involves problems falling or staying asleep for no particular reason. What are some of the common ways people try to self-medicate? What do you think? The most common ways are with alcohol or with over-the-counter sleeping pills, or worse yet, if they get their hands on prescription sleeping pills. Any of these really aggravate the problem by reducing REM sleep. Consider the illusion versus the reality. You're knocked out when you do this, right? So you think it worked, but you don't get the same restorative sleep. So you wake up still tired. But your mind convinced you that because you were unconscious, you got more sleep. So you continue the alcohol or pills. And then on top of that, there's the dependence, right? So next you find you need a higher dosage for that artificial mind-fooling sleep, right? So people take more and can really get into big trouble. Psychologists and good doctors recommend that you deal with insomnia in a number of more healthy ways. One, engage in relaxing activities before bedtime with a dimmer light. When I say a dimmer light, I mean one that you can dim and keep dimming, right? Even if you're reading and it gets difficult to read, if that becomes a problem, you can make it dimmer and use like magnifying glasses. But using a light and making it dimmer and dimmer. Avoid caffeine. And sorry guys, that includes chocolate. Avoid caffeine in the late afternoon and evening. For some people, that might mean avoiding caffeine all day. Warm milk may help, but about 10% of people are lactose intolerant, and many of them are not aware of it. And tea does have caffeine, right? So not a good idea. Engage in a regular schedule. This is super important. So even if you don't get good sleep, get up at the same time and avoid taking naps. And usually you'll be right back on track the next night then. Also, exercise regularly. And this is also really important. Exercise regularly up to, but not after, late afternoon. And finally, don't overreact. Sometimes some people need far less sleep, and that might be you. So just because you're not sleeping the number of hours that you think you should, it's more about how you feel. And you know it when you feel well rested. Okay? So don't overreact to that. Narcolepsy is another sleep disorder. It's characterized by periodic, overwhelming sleepiness. Usually about 5-minute episodes of suddenly falling asleep out of nowhere. As you can imagine, driving is hazardous if narcolepsy is not treated. However, it's easily treatable with a drug. Sometimes people don't go for help because they are afraid that they'll lose their driver's license, but the opposite is true. You are more likely to lose your license, possibly after killing someone else, if you don't go for help. And with treatment, you can usually still drive, keep your license. Narcolepsy is at least partially genetic. By the way, it is not only human beings that can have narcolepsy. Let's watch this video.
He gives new meaning to the phrase dog tired, the narcoleptic poodle who falls asleep at the drop of a hat. Paul Boyd reports the pass-out pooch is something of a medical mystery.
Skeeter is a small dog with a very big problem. No matter how much he struggles to stay awake, he can't. For this 11-pound toy poodle, almost every moment is a disturbing, losing battle with the urge to sleep. There he goes, out cold. Skeeter has narcolepsy, an uncontrollable urge to sleep. Skeeter's struggles to stay awake are heartbreaking for his family, the Hendersons of Chubbuck, Idaho. His narcolepsy is triggered by excitement, so he can be out for an afternoon walk and just fall asleep sitting up.
There you go. Come on. You can do it.
The tail-wagging prospect of jumping up on Shari Henderson's lap suddenly sets Skeeter snoozing.
Come on. Oh.
He's miserable. He looked like he was a prisoner in his body. He was like, please help me. You know, I'm trapped in this little furry white shell.
When the Hendersons' grandson comes to play, Skeeter plays dead. Strangely, when Skeeter can be kept calm, that's when he seems able to stay alert. But nothing's more exciting for a dog than food. So to keep him awake long enough to eat, he has to be constantly petted and stroked. Otherwise, he's off in mid-bite.
Do you know that Scooter is getting pro bono, meaning free, treatment by a group of psychologists and vets who are studying him and trying to improve his life?